Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to this week's weekly guidance. I'm very excited to share today's message with you. I had a really wonderful weekend in Austin this weekend. Got an opportunity to facilitate channeled readings or tarot readings for, I think it was over 30 people. It was like 31 or 32 people that actually sat with me this weekend, which was really cool. It's always a privilege and an honor just to take a peek into what everybody's journey looks like and bringing through guidance to help assist that process. Also had a great time in the workshop too. So thank you to everybody who was out there in Austin that greeted me with great hospitality, kindness, and with open arms and open hearts was open to the guidance and the energy that I wanted to bring through on behalf of Loving Awareness this weekend. Today we're bringing through some more information on behalf of Loving Awareness, and I got into my meditation this morning here in my beautiful nature spot, and what came through, the single line that kind of came through and stuck was, let the past be the past. Now is the time to choose with intention. Let the past be the past. Now is the time to choose with intention. So as you continue through this week, and really this is kind of a mantra, it feels like, for the year in a way, because I don't know about you all out there, but today's February 1st, but it feels almost like this is the real new year, at least for me. I felt like I felt the reset January 1st. I could tell it was a new season, but it felt like through the month of January there was a lot of sort of finding my footing. This is me personally, and I don't know if this resonates for you, but a lot of kind of finding my footing, kind of balancing and recalibrating, making sure I'm integrating those things that were really being processed and brought to my awareness really through the end of last year. And it just felt like I was finding my footing. Today it feels like the real new year. It's like, okay, boom, now it's time to really move forward. And in the spirit of this download that came through today, as I meditated on those words, so that came through, is let the past be the past. Now is the time to choose with intention. So I just leaned into this energy and this sense and just asked kind of for more information, more guidance, more direction. Like, what does that mean? So, lean into that yourself, see what comes up for you, but this is what came through. And it came through in the analogy of being really clear about our intentions. And if we're going to do anything else for ourselves this year, consider just coming up with a very conscious, overarching intention for what is the guiding principle that is going to lead kind of your life and your decision making for the rest of the year. I talk a little bit about it in the new book that's coming out tomorrow, February 2nd, Be Still and Listen, A Guide to Unlocking Your Intuition. I talk about, on my spiritual path, my overarching sort of intention became to seek truth, love, and wisdom for its own sake, and just accept that whatever is meant for me will follow. After years and years and years of wanting and desiring and chasing and seeking and manifesting and try to build and create something, unique and special, and just doing all this work, trying to make stuff happen, trying to build something, trying to make a difference. It was a lot of external focus, right? And so I used to ask in my spiritual journey, and I used to seek in the world what I would just say worldly things, you chase relationships, you chase love, you chase money, you chase validation, and even if you're chasing something, and that's not a bad thing, right? It's just there's something you're pursuing, and it's something outside of us, and a lot of times our happiness then becomes attached to what it is we're pursuing or arriving at some destination. So we set out this thing for ourselves that we got to have it, we got to achieve it, or whatever. And it can be a rocky, bumpy journey. It can be a lot of disappointment. There can be a lot of letdowns and a sort of not a meeting of expectations, which can cause a lot of emotional disruptions, energetic disruptions. But at some point in my journey, I started to realize, the earthly things in the material world was always fleeting. It didn't always satisfy. And even when you were able to achieve or build, accomplish a certain or a particular goal, that the satisfaction of that or the lasting impact of that was always very, very temporary. So I knew I was pursuing external things for temporary achievements or highs or whatever, and that didn't feel incredibly satisfying. It also didn't feel incredibly spiritual. It felt very human, and that's not a bad thing. Again, the spiritual and the human, our spiritualness and our humanness is not separate, but the intention and the place we're living from, the consciousness from which we create from, is actually very different. If we're creating from kind of the ego, the part of us that is human, that has wants and desires, that come from basic conditioning, ideas and beliefs that have been imposed or impressed upon us, consciously or unconsciously, then we're creating from a place of what I would call unconsciousness. It's not from a place of loving awareness or God's creative consciousness. We're creating from a different level of beingness. But eventually in my journey, I decided I wanted to make not only my spiritual inquiries around spiritual growth, I wanted my intentions to be aligned with that as well. And at some point in my journey, I just decided I was going to put my spiritual growth, my budding awareness, the lessons that were going to bring me to a more full understanding of who I am, of my humanness, of my creative, sort of gifts and talents and potential. I wanted to put that front and center and let go of all the worldly things that are markers of success, whether that's money or notoriety, or a relationship that looks a particular way, or family and kids kind of thing, all the societal sort of wins. I wanted to put all that aside and just say, well, I'm going to put my spiritual growth and development first, and I just want to see what comes after that, because that felt like I was building from what I thought was a more substantial foundation. So my intention in my wisdom seeking sessions, and I've talked about this in other weekly guidance, was to seek truth, love, and wisdom for its own sake, and then just kind of accept that whatever is meant to me, what is meant for me, will follow. And that continues to be my intention every day. In my guided meditations, I seek, what is truthful, what is loving, and what is wise. Don't always succeed in doing so. But that's the overarching intention, and that's kind of my true north, right? That I'm constantly trying to calibrate, my actions and my choices, just kind of making sure that I'm keeping in alignment with that true north, which is to seek what is truthful, seek what is loving, and seeking what is wise. So I'll offer that up as a potential that you can take and run with, to seek what is truthful, what is loving, and what is wise on your journey from here on out in this next year, and just see what that creates for you. When your intention is aligned with seeking what is true, what is loving, what is wise, and just kind of seeing what comes to you, what comes for you, what unfolds for you, I think could be a really powerful spiritual step in your journey. Now, of course, we all have free will. We are here to create and experience whatever it is we want. It's kind of awesome. It's a bit of a playground of sorts. So you can choose some other intentions, you can choose some sort of overarching spiritual objective. You can choose an overarching material objective. There's nothing right or wrong about that. That's what we're here to explore and experience. But the one thing that I have learned, and one thing I will say that was coming through with this message about letting the past be the past and then choosing with intention, is to move beyond, obviously, where we've come from, who we've been in our history, choices we've made, the dynamics and the relationships that we have engaged in and partaken in, and don't let them hamper us. Don't let that stuff hamper us from where what we choose moving forward. And the guidance is really just wanting to give us an opportunity, anybody who's hearing this video or listening to this video today, to just choose with intention what your guiding principle is for the year. That might not actually look like anything in particular, as far as manifesting something in particular, because it might be a more abstract intention, or maybe more character oriented or value oriented. I've chosen to seek truth, love, and wisdom for its own sake. Maybe you seek compassion. Maybe you are going to be brave this year. Maybe you're going to be courageous. Maybe you're going to take risks. Maybe you're going to be fearless. There's a lot of different ways that you can frame this, and it's up to you to choose what you want your guiding principle to be this year. And I would encourage you, because I'm in the business of encouraging folks to be still and to listen and to connect to God's loving wisdom, to connect to God's loving awareness, and to use that to help kind of guide our growth, our evolution, and what we're going to create in this world. Because I do believe that when we get quiet and we tap into that beautiful dimension of creative intelligence that is kind of bristling and brimming and flowing through and around all of us, we move into being a vessel for creating a new world and newness that is yet to be really fully realized at this time. But it's your choice, and you have an opportunity to seek. One is to let go of what the past is, and to choose what's ahead for you with intention. And I would encourage you to get into a quiet meditation today, and just ask loving awareness, ask God, ask your spiritual guidance, ask your guardian angels, whatever it is you work with, the higher dimensional forms of loving consciousness, and just ask what might be an appropriate intention that serves your highest good, that guides you through this year. I'd be curious to see what you come up with. The last thing I'll share in regards to this is just kind of a little analogy if we're having trouble wrapping our minds around what this kind of means. And having some background in screenwriting and acting, when you're a writer and you're creating characters, and we're essentially all characters in our story, right, in this journey of life, part of what you kind of embed in your character is what you call like a super want or a super objective. Overall, what's their big goal? What it is that they're after in their story. And when you set that intention for the character, it really does dictate. It dictates the kind of challenges and obstacles that are going to pop up, because if they want something, there's basically no fun in the journey if there's no journey, right? If a character just wants something and they get it, or if a character is learning to grow into a hero or a heroine of some sort, right? They don't just make the choice and become one. There's all these challenges. There's opportunities to learn and to grow, to fail and grow from those failures, and then and to learn to evolve and eventually achieve this a more fully realized version of what it is that they want, or whatever part of themselves is learning to grow. And that's a lot like what we're doing. And the thing about that is that drives the character forward, but it also becomes their guiding principle. So their intentions with each line of dialogue, their intentions with each movement, which each choice that they make is ultimately steering them that direction, right? Anybody who's ever done any kind of acting or character work, as like I said, is like a screenwriter or a playwright or something, might connect with this. But what we're setting up here for us in our own story is for this year ahead, what is that intention that we're going to choose and put as our guiding North Star? What is going to be sort of our guiding principle? What is going to be kind of our super want or our super objective? Maybe super objectives is a better word rather than want in our case. But just think about it. Think about what your North Star is going to be. And then once you establish that and you say, okay, my intention, I'm going to just use my example, is my intention is to seek what is loving, what is truthful, what is loving, and what is wise. Well, what can I expect when I do that? I can expect opportunities to put that into practice. That means I'm going to be presented opportunities where certain decisions and choices might not be truthful, might not be loving, and might not be wise, but I will be given the opportunity to make that choice in the face of some sort of circumstance, to assert that intention, to kind of test my ability to flex those muscles and put them into practice. So think about that as you set your intention for the year, what you're going to choose moving forward. You're going to let go of the past, but as you choose moving forward with intention, recognize that when you choose to move a direction and with intention, what's going to show up are lots of opportunities and challenges and circumstances that are going to facilitate this growth, to keep you aligned, to keep you in alignment with that super objective, with that grand intention that you've set for yourself. So pretty cool stuff, pretty interesting. Thank you for being here today. Thanks for joining me. If you feel compelled, please drop a tip in the Venmo tip jar at the Bomberger. I would be greatly appreciative of that. Reach out if you have questions. I would love to know below in the comments what your super objective is, your intention for the year, and we'll check in soon. Have a beautiful day.